this is Recorder for Everyone, and I am Pat, your basic recorder teacher. This is a series of basic recorder lessons for people who want to learn to play the soprano recorder. You will not get any more basic than this. This is for people who've never played the recorder. Probably you've never played a wind instrument. Perhaps you don't know how to read music and you would like to learn while you're learning to play the instrument. You could be an elementary class music teacher who wants to pick up some tips for your students. If so, you have found your way to the right channel. This is lesson 1 in a series of these basic recorder lessons. Today's lesson is going to focus on, well, how do you get a semi-decent sound on the recorder? We're kind of too used to hearing this kind of thing, especially in some of our elementary schools. But I have to say, I've been in different elementary schools throughout the country, and I've heard some beautiful sounds. So I know that those teachers have stressed a good sound from the beginning, and it can be done. I want you to remember one simple phrase: softer is better. Softer is better. Now, before we get started, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the recorder. You know, it was very popular in the Renaissance and early Baroque periods. And then the modern day orchestras began to evolve. As those orchestras evolved, instruments like the oboe, the clarinet, and the flute, they were developing into the modern instruments that we know today, and so alas, the recorder took a back seat. But in the early part of the 20th century, there was a great revival for recorder playing. So that today, all over the world, children play recorders in their school settings. There are adult groups everywhere. I actually teach senior citizen recorder classes, and we start from beginning level all the way up to more advanced. And yes, we do concerts. There are recorder societies all over the world. The United States has the American Recorder Society. You might want to check that out. It's a great resource, and also you might want to see if there's a chapter in the city nearby where you live. But today we're going to get right into how to make a halfway decent sound on the recorder. First, I'm going to play you a song on a very inexpensive plastic recorder. That's what's so nice about the plastic recorder and the recorder in general. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get started. So I'm going to play the Shaker tune, Simple Gifts, for you. I'm going to back up because sometimes when I'm too close to my iPad, the sound gets a little distorted. So that is a goal of ours. We're going to learn to play these beautiful songs. Now, if you have a recorder, I want you to take a look at it. If you don't have a recorder yet, don't worry, because in lesson 2, I'm going to talk about recorders that I recommend for beginners. But let's take a look at this series of finger holes. This series of finger holes lines right up with that hole in the mouthpiece up here. One of the reasons I use this recorder for these lessons is because on the lighter recorder you can really see the holes well. Now those holes, they are in front of you. If I'm looking at the back of my recorder, all I can see is that one little thumb hole. That's all I can see. I can also see this flat, smooth, curved section of the mouthpiece. So there's my recorder. It's in front of me. The holes, I can't see them because they're in front of me, and that single thumb hole is in the back. Now today we aren't going to worry about how to hold the recorder. We're just going to hold it down here with our 2 hands. We'll worry about how to hold it later. Now there's a million different ways people teach the recorder, and I know that all of them are good. So you just find what works for you, and I'm going to share what has worked for me over the years. So what I have my students do is I have them take the English word to, T-O, and I just have them say two, two, two. Two, two, two. Then I have them whisper it. Two, 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 two. Some people use D-O, that's just fine. Do works well, but I happen to use this. Now you're going to take your recorder. You're going to take this part, you're just going to rest it in the middle of your chin. You're actually not going to put the recorder inside of your mouth, and I'll tell you why I do that in a minute. You're just going to start whispering the word two. And then, as you're whispering it, you're bringing your arms up. Watch how I do this. And when I do that, the recorder ends up right in your mouth the way it's supposed to be. Watch that again. Chin, outside of my mouth. And once you're very good at that, you don't have to do that little routine. You can just put it in your mouth. One of the reasons why I start outside of the mouth is because if I have students put the recorder in their mouth right away, this is what I got. I get the very sound that you're totally trying to avoid. So that's why I start outside of the mouth. Now, I want you to look at something. I want you to notice that my lips don't move. They're not moving at all. The tongue is what's doing the work. Then I want you to notice my lips aren't tight. They're very loose. Because we're going to remember one single phrase, which is softer is better. Softer is better. The other thing I want you to observe, your teeth do not go on that mouthpiece. That's only for clarinets and saxophones. In recorder playing, they don't go there. It's just loose lips. Now the other thing you want to avoid is this. And you certainly want to avoid the hoo-hoo-hoo method. So we're not worrying about how to hold the recorder. We're just putting it there. See how many times in a row you can do that. Your tongue is what's doing the work. Now, once you can do this well, you are ready for lesson 3, which is where we learn our first 3 notes. Lesson 2 is where we're going to talk about recorders that I recommend for beginning players. And I have a lesson 2A, which is just some little tidbits on how to take care of your recorder. Why don't you invite a friend along on this journey with you, because recorder is for everyone. If you want to make sure you don't miss a lesson, press the subscribe button, but I know that at least 5 of the lessons are already out there. So thanks, I'll see you for the next lesson.